Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. A high-level probe is currently underway to investigate all details about Parliament security breach yesterday. Ministry of Home Affairs has set up an inquiry panel on request of the Lok Sabha Secretariat, which would be headed by DG CRPF Anish Dayal Singh. The panel has been asked to submit a report at the earliest on the lapses and also on the steps to be taken in future. Now, the initial probe has revealed that a total of 7 accused have been identified by the agencies. 6 of them are already arrested. 1 is still at large. Manoranjan, a resident of Mysuru and an engineer by profession, is suspected to be the mastermind of this entire breach and plan and for motivating others to join in. Lalit Jha is the other key suspect currently at large. Meanwhile, a full-blown political war has broken out between the government and the opposition MPs over this breach. Opposition MPs constantly demanding Home Minister Amit Shah's statement in Parliament in both houses, which is not agreeable to the government, at least as of now. This has led to chaos in both houses of Parliament, and a total of 15 parliamentarians from the opposition camp have been suspended for quote unruly behaviour. Now, the India bloc has slammed the centre for the move, terming their attitude hypocritical because they point out that no action has been taken against the Mysuru MP Pratap Simha, whose office issued the passes to the intruders, while they have been suspended only for asking for a statement from the government. While that may be comparing apples and oranges, there is no denying that on such a crucial issue, the country deserves at least a statement from the government of the day. While the government may not be directly in charge of Parliament security, the assurance must definitely come from them. Will there not be any political accountability for what has transpired? Should the government not be held accountable for this massive security lapse? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. But first, piecing together how this intrusion was planned, let me take you through the days and months, in fact, that went into planning of this breach by the accused. So the accused have been in touch for over a year. For nearly 1.5 years is what we're being told. Manoranjan, who's the engineer, being considered the mastermind, and others met in Mysore first. This was almost 1.5 years ago. Sagar is the other accused. In fact, he wrecked Parliament during the monsoon session. This is one of the most shocking details that have come to light. Clearly, they figured out that they could smuggle in the smoke canisters in shoes and they would go undetected. Amol is the other accused who bought these canisters or these smoke bombs in Latur but collected them from Kurla, which is in Maharashtra. Sagar came to Delhi via Gomti Express from Lucknow in December itself. Amol arrived from Latur in Delhi, while Neelam arrived from Hisar. The accused met at Vicky's house. Vicky is another accused or somebody who has been detained as a person of interest on December 10. This man, Vicky, is Manoranjan's friend. So initially, remember, they had planned the act actually for December 14, but they got the pass for December 13 instead and therefore executed it on that day. That gives us at least some answers to whether they planned it specifically for the anniversary of the previous Parliament attack or not. It seems as of now that wasn't really the plan. Finally, the 5 accused who were at Parliament yesterday met up at India Gate. Sagar is the one who actually collected the passes on behalf of them. And the accused, remember, have been in touch with MP Pratap Simha's office for quite a few months. They first connected via Facebook and then, of course, have been asking for passes. They headed to Parliament where Sagar and Manoranjan then went in. The others stayed out. Lalit Jha, who allegedly live-streamed this event, is still absconding, as I mentioned. Switching over now to the more political side of what has transpired. Even as we track the investigation and background of the accused, there was plenty of action and all wrong headlines coming out of Parliament again today. What started with the suspension of just Derek O'Brien from Rajya Sabha eventually became 15 suspensions across both houses. First up, here is what happened as far as the TMC MP is concerned. Opposition MPs were demanding discussion on the Parliament breach incident today when the houses convened. Derek O'Brien, in fact, entered the well of the house. He started protesting. His body language was fairly aggressive towards the chair as well. The chairman directed that he should leave the house immediately, but he didn't do so. Kharge, the Congress chief, backed Derek O'Brien. The opposition continued to demand back the demands that Derek O'Brien was making. They continued their protest. Eventually, the House was adjourned and it was announced that the TMC MP be suspended for his unruly conduct. Let me just play a clip of what has happened.
I hereby name Sri Derek O'Brien. Derek O'Brien is hereby named to leave the house immediately. What are you doing? Mr. Derek O'Brien, you have committed breach of privilege. Mr. Derek O'Brien to leave the house immediately. Mr. Derek O'Brien to leave the house immediately. I hereby name Sri Derek O'Brien. Derek O'Brien is hereby named to leave the house immediately. What are you doing? Mr. Derek O'Brien, you have committed breach of privilege. Mr. Derek O'Brien to leave the house immediately. Mr. Derek O'Brien to leave the house immediately. I hereby name Sri Derek O'Brien. Derek O'Brien is hereby named to leave the house immediately. What are you doing? Mr.
Well, that episode actually has turned out to be fairly ugly. Meanwhile, in Lok Sabha, opposition MPs were also protesting against the government inside the house. A resolution was then moved to suspend 14 MPs for their unruly behavior. 9 of them were from the Congress party, 2 from DMK and 3 from the left. In one embarrassment for the Lok Sabha proceedings, actually one of the MPs from DMK who was named in the suspension list was not in the house today. Later, that resolution was adopted by the House and the MPs were suspended for quote, willfully obstructing the business of the House. Now, what is this face-off in Parliament all about? Opposition is making the following demands, and of course, we'll ask our guests joining us in just a bit if these are indeed fair demands to make. What is demand number 1? That a detailed statement should be made by Home Minister Amit Shah in both houses of Parliament, that this statement should be followed by a discussion in the houses, and that there should be strict action against BJP MP Pratap Simha. While this, of course, the BJP will, of course, protest. But Congress chief Mr. Kharge has now written to Rajya Sabha chairman Mr. Dhankar demanding a discussion under Rule 267 as well. But for some reason, the government insists a statement by them is not needed. At least that's what has been communicated as of now. This is instead what the BJP is saying, that the Lok Sabha Secretariat and the Speaker are actually factually responsible for the security of the House. A thorough investigation has already been ordered in this matter that has been apprised to the House as well. Similar incidents have happened in the past and the Speaker was never questioned as the opposition is doing today. Lok Sabha will surely discuss the incident soon is what we're also being told. The question we asked today is simply this. While the government may not be directly responsible, will there eventually not have to be political accountability, and therefore will the government not be held accountable for what transpired?
सभा की कार्यवाही 2 बजे तक स्थगित की जाती है।
For it is a very serious breach which has happened. For we need the Honourable Home Minister to come and make a statement in the Parliament.
नारेबाजी की घटनाएं और पेपर फेंकना और तरह तरह की जंपिंग की घटनाएं पिछले जो हमारा पहले का पार्लियामेंट है उसमें भी पहले हो चुकी हैं। मैं समझता हूं कि सभी को मिलकर इस घटना को कंडेम करना चाहिए।
I hereby name Sri Derek O'Brien. Derek O'Brien is hereby named to leave the house immediately.
Hello, Moto.
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Siddharth Yadav is BJP spokesperson with us. Aiyshwarya Mahadev from the Congress party. Mohammad Tauseef Rahman is from the TMC as well. Daniel Francis is political analyst, and PK Mishra, former director, Parliament Security, is also with us. I do thank you all for your time. Let me begin with the opposition members first. Aiyshwarya Mahadev, of course, we've heard from what the Congress chief has said. The demand that you are insisting on is on a Home Minister statement in both houses of Parliament. What do you make of the government response that has come in so far, that actually the Speaker is the one that will brief the House and has already done so in some limited capacity? There is no need, as it stands, for the Home Minister to make a statement.
Good evening, Shivani. I don't think this is anywhere different from the modus operandi of the BJP, which is known for constantly abdicating responsibility. I think at the crux of all of this, or the crux of this entire matter, is that this is an extremely grave security breach in what was supposed to be touted as one of the biggest, best parliament houses around. And the fact that you could see such a massive lax and you see a man running in, and thank goodness it was only yellow spray paint in a pressurized canister, mind you, which is explicitly prohibited. You see that this is, again, the government not taking responsibility for what is wrong. And I think especially, on the 22nd anniversary of what was the parliament attack, and mind you, the last time also nobody was allowed to enter the house, even though we lost lives. I think this is an extremely massive breach, and the government's response is clearly found lacking. And Shivani, let me also point out, I am from Mysore. The intruder from Mysore's father has been talking to the media saying we're very close friends with the member of parliament. So I asked the government, whether the speaker, the Lok Sabha secretariat or anybody in charge of security, while you suspend MPs for asking the correct questions, will you take any action against Mr. Pratap Simha?
Okay.
For being lax enough? Because when you talk about OTPs being so critical to national security, don't you think that a member of parliament's passes should also have the same level of scrutiny?
Yeah, but he can't do that scrutiny. That scrutiny ultimately will have to be done by a security apparatus.
But
There's a difference here.
I am, Shivani, let's be honest. If I am a member of parliament, if somebody is getting a pass in my name, I would at least look to see if I, one, knew the person. Second, if you say the BJP organizes passes for karyakartas and whatnot, do you not believe that they would check and see and do enough thorough checks?
While I get what you're saying, but I was speaking to Congress MP Karti Chidambaram only yesterday, and he himself said that MPs give passes to even those who they don't know from their constituency, and they should, as a members of parliament, facilitate members of their constituency coming to the parliament and visit. So I'll park that issue for a brief while, but I think the fundamental issue you're raising is, why should there not be a statement from the government? Tauseef, please come in on this, especially you've seen what transpired with Derek O'Brien. While you take on the government, I do want to ask you an added question. Is it fair to create ruckus to get your demands heard?
No, Shivani, absolutely, you have a valid point, but this demand is personal with Derek O'Brien, or Derek O'Brien was creating a ruckus for the country, for the security and for the security lapse?
You can't be saying I'm creating ruckus for somebody else's security. Come on.
No, come on. No, Shivani, I'm not targeting you. It's always BJP. He's there. He will answer me. You're just an anti.
It is my question. It is not BJP's question. I am asking you the question. You can target me for that question if you want. I am asking you, is it fair to create ruckus in the house to get your demands heard like this?
No, Shivani, there was no personal interest of Derek O'Brien.
It doesn't matter whether it's personal or not. I'm talking about the ruckus.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If someone is unheard, if someone is not being given a chance, they will create a ruckus. Actually, it's a parliament. You have the right to raise your voice. And if someone is there who doesn't want to listen to you, of course there will be ruckus. And this ruckus ka pratham jo hai, parampara jo hai, wo chalte hue aaya. But the point is, the way the Honorable Speaker was serious and stern with Derek O'Brien, the country expected the same to get serious on this latest parliament attack. Shivani, if you raise question in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, you won't get answers. Instead, you will be suspended like Mahua Mitra and Derek O'Brien. Trinamool Congress will not back off for sure. And we are fighting for our country. Have any steps have been taken against BJP MP Pratap Sinha yet now? I mean, instead of that, the BJP government is saying that ye hamare andar nahi aata hai. This is not our responsibility. This goes directly to the secretariat. I mean, come on. You can't say like this.
Is that a sufficient response? Okay. I do want to say, that entire thing that you mentioned, that ruckus to desh ke liye kiya ja raha hai. These people who actually created the ruckus inside parliament, they also seemed to have certain grievances. I just want to say, once again, I just want to say that let's not create this feeling amongst people that it is okay to create ruckus in parliament to get yourselves heard, because that's exactly what these four individuals tried to do. Let's not create that platform for people to justify their actions because they seemingly come from a good place. That doesn't justify ruckus, not in parliament. My limited point, but I want to go across to our BJP representative, Siddharth Yadav. Please respond to us. Why is it that a statement from the Home Minister should not be forthcoming? What is the justification for that?
Shivani, absolutely. I'll speak on that, and I'm not sure how much of that would be taken well with my friends, because I think they understand very well, but they're not trying to understand. Shivani, we have a very clear system in our parliamentary democracy. We have the constitution lays down three wings of our government, three wings of our country. One is the executive, one is the legislature, one is the judiciary. The parliament functioning does not come under the executive. It comes under the legislature. The Speaker of Lok Sabha, the Secretariat of our Parliament, is the custodian of the Parliament. All arrangements made there, all grievances of the members of Parliament, all security measures are directly under the Lok Sabha Speaker.
I get that.
And they have to take that. Now, when it comes down to, now what happened after the incident? As soon as the incident happened, the Lok Sabha Speaker was prompt enough to call all parliament. Sir, I was not interrupting while you were speaking.
Just let him finish in 30 seconds, please. Tauseef, not like this, please. Tauseef, not like this. Let him finish for 30 seconds. I have a following question for Mr. Yadav. Please let him finish for 30 seconds. Tauseef, not like this. Yes.
When this incident happened, the Lok Sabha Speaker very promptly called for an all-party meeting. Nobody is saying that this incident is not good, is not bad. Nobody is saying. Everybody is condemning. What has happened has to be thoroughly checked. All investigations on all fronts has to happen. Already a very high-level inquiry has been set up by the Lok Sabha Speaker. What measures have to be taken are also being discussed with all members.
But
it is
Mr. Yadav, the only demand the opposition is making is that such an incident has happened. Why should they not hear what, let's say, for example, what you are conveying, what Rajnath Singh said today, what the Speaker is conveying? Why can't the same be conveyed from the Home Minister? I know he's not in charge of the, Parliament security, but he is the Home Minister of the country. You cannot alienate, what happens in Parliament from the Home Ministry completely.
Absolutely, Shivani. But what I am trying to convey is the same what is being conveyed by the Lok Sabha Speaker. It is what is being conveyed by everybody from the Secretariat, what was being conveyed in the all-party.
But not by the Home Minister. It almost sounds like an ego issue.
It would be. No, it is absolutely not. Why would it be? No, Shivani, try to understand this. We are very simply saying this is something that is happening, that we are doing. These are the measures saying, but you're saying, no, I know what you're doing. I can also agree that what you're saying, but I want to hear from this mouth today.
Okay, so it's not just about the statement from Home Minister. They're also demanding a discussion on this issue. Why not? You have to give sufficient response as to why it doesn't deserve a discussion.
Shivani, first of all, I'll just take 20 seconds to respond to this. This is one incident which should be unequivocally condemned. This is nothing to politicize. There is no party, no sides to this. All members of the Parliament belonging to any political party, belong to any front, have to sit down and discuss what measures have to be taken. To do that, you need to do a all-party meeting. To do that, you need to do a constructive discussion.
Okay, constructive discussion, but is that happening? What we've seen instead is, completely opposite pictures of MPs getting suspended, not what you would ideally like to see a day after what happened in Parliament. But I want to go across to PK Mishra also, who's a former director of Parliament Security. While the government looks at it, or there's a panel and inquiry set up, there's the DG CRPF who's going to look at it, and of course lots of politics is ensuing on it. Not politics per se, which is bad politics, but a lot of politicking is happening on this. What is your take on what should be the ideal response on a day like today after what has transpired?
Yes, I can tell you, Shivani, I will not make any political statement. I am a security person, and I can well tell that yes, there was a breach of security in the new Parliament. There was a security lapse in the Parliament, and it's not only these 8 persons who were suspended. Some more persons who are responsible, action should be taken against them. This committee which has been set up by Ministry of Home Affairs on the request of Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha, I can well tell that a DG CRPF is the chairman, Mr. Animesh, and he's a very nice officer, and most of the security experts from various security agencies, they are a part of it. What they have to do, they have to check the security setup which was there in the old Parliament vis-a-vis that of the new Parliament, and what is the position, what is the strength of the Lok Sabha security, what is the strength of the Rajya Sabha security, whether body scanner is available at the building gates. Now, of course, instead of one building gate, they have now differentiated. There will be 4 building gates for the entry for different personalities. That's a good sign. But yet they have to see the height of the level of public gallery, and like old parliament, the public gallery should have a cover by thick glass so that nobody can jump. But you should have the latest technical gadgets in the parliament, new parliament, so that you should have the vapor detectors. I am very categorically telling that not only body scanner, you should have the vapor detectors at the public gallery gate and also at reception and also at building gate, so that anybody bringing anything in the cap or belt or shoes, they have to be frisked. They have to be frisked, and
that's exactly the question I wanted to ask you.
And they can be caught right in the airport. And
have we got left behind a little bit?
Be done, and
technologically, have we got left behind a little bit? Do we not have the state-of-the-art technology? Because some are suggesting that these canisters were plastic, which is why they couldn't be detected by metal detectors. Should we not have the most state-of-the-art detectors?
That means, Shivani, do you think that this type of things can be carried by everybody in most of the airports in the world, and they can take it to their aircrafts? No, these are all being tested, and there are technical gadgets which can find out all these explosives which are in plastic and cannot be they are not metallic. We have got so many vapor detectors, there is no problem about that. And body scanners are there. So all these building gates of the parliament, they should have vapor detectors and body scanners. And I am telling you, the pass system, it's not that we have to stop the entry of civilians or the Indians to our parliament. Everybody is authorized to come to the parliament, but let there be few dates, so that the security persons should come to know who are coming, what are the who all are coming, who has recommended, and just don't recommend a person to come next day itself or the same day itself. It's very dangerous what has happened in this particular case.
So you're saying some time should be allowed
given 2 or 3 days
to do some sort of a background check on that person. Absolutely. I do want to go.
And training of
Please finish your thought.
Training of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha security types on the technical gadgets and the development and technicality of frisking. It cannot go with the old system of frisking. That is which has happened. We have to go. We have to modernize ourselves, technically upgrade ourselves both physically, so as also
and of course in terms of the human aspect as well. I want to go back across to our political face-off that is taking place. Daniel Francis, I want to come to you. Look at what's happened. On yesterday, the attack happens and Parliament resumes business as if nothing has happened. Today, you've got 15 of the opposition MPs getting suspended. I mean, this is optically not the right thing that should be happening. A day after what has transpired, and opposition MPs, I'm not condoning their rude behavior or their aggressive behavior or ruckus creating. I'm not condoning that at all. But they're demanding statement from the government, from the Home Minister and a discussion. That should not be a premise on which you've got 15 MPs getting suspended.
I agree with you that these MPs should not have been suspended, but I think controlling the parliament is also becoming a very difficult job for those who are chairing Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. I'm not here to favor what the government is doing either. But the disruptions in the parliament is a major issue. Security, and as we discuss security of the parliament, I would also like to discuss the disruptions in the parliament. Why is the parliament becoming so disruptive and so intolerable to see? And the way the MPs behave, whether opposition or government MPs, there's absolutely no consensus between the government and the opposition, and there is absolutely, I don't see even a bridge of leaders working together to come to consensus on critical matters of national interest. Now, what has happened yesterday is a very important political issue. It's a very important issue, and security should not be either compromised or politicized.
But is that what is happening, you feel? In the
reached.
opposition's response today, do you see politics happening on national security and parliament security?
No, both the sides are doing politics. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. But I'm saying, as an Indian, as an independent observer, I'm saying that you can do politics on 95% of issues. Do it very well.
But possibly not on this. Yeah.
Or once, not do politics on national security, on the security of the Parliament House, because the kind of message it sends. Yesterday also it sent a very rude and very embarrassing message that India's Parliament
is not secure.
Not secure. And today the message is that India's Parliament, if yesterday was about the government, today is about the opposition. That
Okay, Tauseef has been wanting to come in. Let me just go around the opposition panelists one more time. Tauseef, the point that some are raising is that everything that happens becomes about, kind of bringing in all issues against the government and about bringing them down instead of an earnest attempt to kind of sit together and figure out what happened. But the BJP is also saying that, listen, we've had incidents that have happened in the past. Nobody has ever behaved or reacted to those incidents like this. So what explains this reaction today by the opposition?
I mean, see, Shivani, it is not mandatory that we are here sitting on a TV and we have to attack BJP. Every day politics, there's election, there's corruption, there's debates, some heat arguments. It's okay, I do understand. But I have some questions which people have asked me to ask on national television. Like, if something happens in India as of now, right at this moment, who is answerable? Because these people will ask you, like when TMC, Congress, BJP, when they go for vote, when they go for campaigning, they don't segregate their votes, right? They don't tell ki, if you vote me, I can do only this for you because this is not my department. Because if you enter an airport, the security is not inside my hands. So if you get killed, we are not responsible. We will only give you schemes. If you go station, the same will be repeated. Wait. So if you are inside a parliament, so this is not your department. Who is the Home Minister? Amit Shah, he belongs to Bhajpa. Who's my Prime Minister?
One second, let Mr. Yadav respond. Tauseef, you had your say, let Mr. Yadav respond. Yes, Mr. Yadav, what are you saying?
Shivani, there is nobody is denying that the entire security setup of this country is actually now also investigating this matter, should also respond and take cognizance. Nobody is responding. As the head of internal security, the Home Minister will also respond to the situation. But in due time, it is the second day investigation is going on. Absconding people are being arrested. The crux of the matter is being dealt with. It is being investigated. Are we expecting the Home Minister to come out with a raw reply?
These guys, they did Reiki inside the parliament.
If you are actually
That's
looking
a parliament,
for
not India Gate.
Want an answer,
it's not a statement that you will do Reiki inside the parliament. They did it before and they came up with a plan. What message are you sending to those criminals
who want
to attack India?
No, can I just come in?
Down to the point, who was actually planning
it's
it?
A
is
big
it actually
issue,
a part of a toolkit?
You cannot issue an entry pass to any Tom, Dick and Harry. Even if we are commoners,
that's not something that is done. In fact, MPs themselves have said that passes are issued to people who the MPs are not aware of at all. And that is what the spirit of Indian democracy is. But Aiyshwarya, let me come to you. So the point that is possibly being made by the BJP is that look at the history of the opposition. In the past, the opposition has held up proceedings of the House, has been caught, creating ruckus purely because they are insisting that so and so should make a statement and only then will we be happy. The government hasn't refused that the Home Minister will speak. Is it too much to ask that you maybe wait till Monday next week?
Shivani, before I answer that, just a few responses, right? When you say MPs give passes to everybody, I have also visited Parliament. I've worked for a member of Parliament where the pass procedure is, for example, the MP is from Mysore. Shouldn't he have a little bit of prudence to see there is one person but Mysore, but four other people from different places? Isn't it reasonable prudence for you to imagine, yes, my constituent is allowed to visit Parliament because I am his MP. Nobody is disagreeing. But prudence is required, especially when it comes to security. Second, the BJP spokesperson gave me that civics lesson about the arms of government. Well and good, sir. But the fact remains, the same way you said that the Home Minister may or should give him the leeway for this. If the same leeway was given by a particular Chief Minister when 2611 was happening and he's outside the Taj, maybe you would have set a better precedent from your party when you asked the opposition to actually react in a different manner. And third, Shivani, let me make this very, very
No, but
simple.
what is happening is
All of us, I
no
did not
opposition in the
interrupt
country has
you.
ever done
Please,
it.
sir, can you calm down? 1 second. Let me finish and then you can have your time. I have
I'll
not
give you the
interrupted.
courtesy because you were not like
Shivani,
Tauseef.
1 second. Shivani.
Go ahead, finish, please.
Nobody is denying the fact. We unequivocally condemn what has happened. We believe that this is the gravest security breach and misfortune, the country's security, whether internally within parliament or internally within the territorial borders of what we call India, belongs with the home minister.
Okay.
While the
Since you
BJP
said
will send an education minister to talk for a finance minister, INB minister to talk for a defense minister, I believe in such a serious instance, the home minister should speak, and what the opposition MPs have done is completely reasonable. They asked
Can I
for
comment on that? Aiyshwarya,
suspended.
because you're saying this is such a grave incidence of security breach, what has come to light by today is that there are past examples of people from the visitors gallery jumping onto the Lok Sabha or to the House. And in past instances, it has happened under Congress governments. It has even happened, from what I have been told, in 2016, which was under this government alone. In most of those cases, actually, it didn't seem to get this kind of attention or wasn't seen as that kind of a very high security risk. Maybe the smoke bombs in this case created a greater amount of panic. But when you say this is the greatest security risk that has happened, are you not putting aside the fact that this has happened before? In the past instances, this didn't happen. In the past instances, a lot of those accused were actually not even, slapped with the UAPA charges or even jailed for a long time. There is a precedent to this.
Can I just add for
Shivani,
10 seconds?
Yeah, let her finish. Let Aiyshwarya finish. Mr. Yadav, I'm coming to you.
Shivani, I believe every single attack is something or anything, any breach of security, especially in the parliament, where, mind you, forget opposition leaders, the prime minister himself goes and sits. Don't you think it's one of the gravest instances? And let me tell you, I've gone to parliament, they will not let me take anything inside except an ID card.
Yes.
They have basically allowed pressurized canisters. If you do not understand the severity, you are not allowed to carry a deodorant into the
Yes,
airport.
absolutely. I understand the severity, and maybe that's what made it worse than what happened in the past. But I'm just saying that similar instances of people in visitors gallery jumping onto the Lok Sabha desk or others have happened. I'm
sure it has happened. I'm sure action might be taken. But you cannot draw an equivalence.
Okay, you cannot draw an equivalence. In this case, Mr. Yadav, the accused, two of them were carrying aerosol sprays, which are of a much different nature, especially when you have a security apparatus where you're not even supposed to carry a sheet of paper.
Shivani, don't draw an equivalence, but I'll just quote you 4 examples and draw the equivalence of how the opposition reacts. April 74, pistols were being brought to the visitors gallery. The person was arrested. A dagger in July 74 was taken to the visitors gallery. Explosive was taken in November 74. In January 99, on 2 consecutive days, people jumped into the Lok Sabha. Tell me the next day of such days when the opposition has held the parliament hostage, it was adjourned for 10 times, no discussions happened. Okay. It is the first time that the opposition of this country do not want to unite on such an issue, and they want to do politics, bring out something, just be stuck on something and not actually go to the bottom of this. The investigating agencies are
okay. One second. Mr. Yadav, I get your point. That's why I brought this up, that similar instances have happened. But Daniel Francis, times have evolved. We don't live in 1970s and 1990s anymore. Security concerns have evolved. Security apparatuses have evolved. And in this case, as Aiyshwarya pointed out, it wasn't just somebody coming and raising slogans or jumping. They managed to carry in pressurized canisters. That's a grave concern. So are these comparable?
I think no system is foolproof. That is even for developed countries and highly secured. That is one part. Second thing is that how did these people take those kind of material inside the parliament has to be investigated, and the people of India, forget about the opposition, the people of India should know that why did this happen. Yes, the MP in question should be questioned.
Yes.
That was he aware about the fact that
I think the MP in question has already been asked for an explanation.
We also want to know that whether he had a relationship with them.
Or not.
Just to brush it aside, saying that MPs issue awases and all that stuff. No, there's liability to you, and there's a question to you, and you have to answer that question. Whether the MP is from BJP, whether the MP is from Congress, whosoever
Okay.
the MP is, he has to tell the people of India. But
All
see
right.
the affairs of the state of the parliament. We have a strong government and we have a disrupted parliament. We have a weak opposition and we have a disrupted parliament. We have a parliament that doesn't function, doesn't set an example, doesn't set a standard. And yesterday we got to know that it is not even secured. Now, whose responsibility it is? It is the government's responsibility first, then the responsibility of the opposition.
Absolutely. No, ultimately, the buck will stop with the government, and we'll have to wait and see what answers come in from them. If they don't want to make a statement just yet, surely there could be maybe, we don't know, a more detailed explanation that comes in from the Home Minister when he does indeed speak. We are being told possibly next week in Parliament. I have to leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us.